What the Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, a show where we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, lifelong fantasy enthusiast. So, today I wanted to continue our discussion. We've already been through a couple of rounds of receivers in the league with the AFC and NFC East and South. Today I want to talk about the AFC and NFC North and kind of where I see guys going from that division in particular. So we got a lot more players here, or at least a few more than we did in some of the last videos. There's a lot more talent, and I think these in general are some more competitive divisions overall. So we'll see what we come up with here, but in general I have about 10 guys in the first tier. I only have about 6 guys after that I think are, kind of your middling round picks. And after that, I've got, 17 through 30 are guys that are probably going to end up on free agency, the waiver wire or something like that. But we'll see how it goes. We'll talk about ADP, and we'll talk about why I like some of these guys, where I like them, and why I disagree with some of the ADP predictions right now. So right out the gate, number 1, Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings. He has come out publicly, said that he thinks he has the ability to do what Cooper Kupp did last year. He has, for 2 years in a row, consistently been a top producer from a fantasy standpoint. I have no reason to doubt him at this point. He's the number 1 guy out of both of these divisions. He is going pick 104 overall. So again, round 1, pick 4 overall. So a guy that you're going to love if you have him. You are sacrificing a really high-end running back to take him, but he's definitely worth it from a talent perspective. Keeping with that, the guy that's literally right after him in fantasy drafts, 105, you're looking at Jamar Chase. Had a phenomenal rookie season. I don't look for anything to cause a problem with that this year except maybe injury, which you can't predict. And again, Jamar Chase, he speaks for himself. He's going number 5 overall in a draft. I love him there. I think he's going to be a great player for you. You're not going to have any complaints with him. Next guy, another Cincinnati Bengal here, T. Higgins. A lot of people are high on him. I understand that. Jamar Chase is going to command a lot of attention from the secondary, and that's going to open up things for both T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, though I do think T. Higgins has the higher upside. He was originally supposed to be what Jamar Chase is, but he's fallen into a secondary role, but it's a very high upside secondary role. He is going pick 212 overall, so back into the second round, beginning of the third. If you can get him in the third round, definitely a steal there. The next guy, Deontay Johnson. Going pick 404 overall. If Big Ben was still around, he'd be going in the third or back into the second. But Big Ben's not there, and we don't know what's going to happen with Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett there. I like him overall. I still think his talent is there. He's been good every year so far. It's going to be a very, very different offense in Pittsburgh. So he's a guy that I like because of his talent, but you're kind of taking a risk, and I don't like risk very much in the first 4 to 5 rounds here. A guy that I think is a little bit better and you can get later, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had a phenomenal last 8 games of the season last year. I look for that to carry over this year, though there are more targets in Detroit. So he's a guy that I really like at 5 overall. He's going round 6, pick 2. Definitely somebody that I think is a good pick and would be a solid wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 for any given team. The next guy, this is where it gets a little controversial. I have Allen Lazard, who is going round 8, pick 8. I have him as the number 6 out of these divisions, and the reason being, Devontae Adams is no longer in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is your 2-time reigning MVP. He's got to throw the ball to somebody. And yes, he's going to have A.J. Dillon. He's going to have Aaron Jones on the ground, and he'll dump off passes to both of those guys. Somebody's got to catch the ball, and Allen Lazard has seniority. Now, he hasn't been paid like a wide receiver 1, but he's going to be their de facto guy. I do think Christian Watson has the chance to eat into that, and as you'll see, I do have Christian Watson kind of in that next tier of players. Any guy on the Green Bay offense could end up being the guy this year. And whoever it is, you're going to want to find out who that is early, and you're going to want to get them on your team because they have the potential to be a top 12 wide receiver in the league. So you definitely want to figure that out. I think Allen Lazard, because of his seniority, has the best shot at that. We'll see what happens in the long run. He hasn't been a favorite target of Rodgers, and we'll see what happens with Watson. But I think he has the highest upside out of that grouping. Sammy Watkins is another guy that's there, but I'll talk about him in a moment. The next guy that I have on this list, Darnell Mooney. There's just nobody else in Chicago. He had a great year last year. He won a lot of people leagues. He is going round 5, pick 12 overall. I still like him there. Not somebody I'm super, super high on this year. I think he's being taken about where he should have, where you could get him in about the 9th or 10th round last year. Now you're having to pay a little bit more of a premium. You're going to get some quality production out of him as long as he stays healthy, though. The next guy, Amari Cooper. if Deshaun Watson plays, Amari Cooper needs to be in the top 5 of this list. If Deshaun Watson doesn't play for a significant amount of time or misses the season, he's a guy that probably is being overdrafted. He's going in round 5, pick 7. Again, Deshaun Watson doesn't play. His talent is still amazing. You're going to have Jacoby Brissett and most recently Josh Rosen throwing you the ball. I don't love either of those options. Still a high ceiling guy, very low floor guy, if that's what happens. So, pick at your own risk, but he's going in the 5th if you want to take a shot on him. Another guy, Adam Thielen. I'm a little surprised here. I think I kind of just forgot about Thielen. I think I would have put him a little higher had I realized this as I was making the list. He's going at the beginning of the 7th into the 6th round. Another guy that's done nothing but produce and be consistent every year. With Justin Jefferson there, he's not going to get as many targets as he once upon a time did, but he is still a sure-handed and great target for Kirk Cousins in that offense. You should be happy if you have him as a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 on the back end there. Rashad Bateman, this is another guy. I don't know if he's got the talent, but he's going in the 5th round, 6th pick overall, and primarily people are anticipating that he's going to replace Hollywood Brown's production from last year. Now that he's the only receiver on Baltimore worth mentioning. There's only one more on this list to put it in perspective. You're still going to have Mark Andrews eating into that production. There's still going to be a run-first team. I don't love him, and I especially don't love him in the 5th round. I love him more in the 6th or 7th if you can get him there, but he's just not going. He's going in the middle of the 5th, and I just don't think you're going to get what you need out of him there. But just still a high-talented player and a guy that's probably worth taking a shot on. Now, that's my top 10 guys here out of the division. Now we're going to go through 11 through 16. These are guys that are worth drafting, but they're late-round picks, not guys that I would spend a lot of time thinking about early on in a draft. And right out the gate, number 11, Sammy Watkins. Has a high ceiling if he turns into the guy for Aaron Rodgers. I think he's more talented than Alan Lazard. I think he's been banged up and just hadn't gotten the shot that he needs. Again, taken 4th overall by the Buffalo Bills years ago. He's still not quite 30 yet, so we'll see what happens with him. But he is going in the 15th round. Pick 8. You can take him in the 13th, 14th, 15th round and be more than happy with the upside you're getting off of him. Cut him if you don't like him. DJ Chark is the next guy at 12. He is moved from Jacksonville to Detroit. I like his situation better. I think he's going to elevate the players around him a little bit. And again, I think with Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of emerging there, he has a potential to be a decent option on a week-to-week basis. He is going in the 13th round, pick 5. Next guy I have Tyler Boyd, 10-2 overall. I like Tyler Boyd. I think he's the 3rd option in a really high-powered offense, so we'll see what happens with him, but I do like him in the 10th round. Chase Claypool, I've got it 908 overall. Same situation as Deontay Johnson. I just don't know what's going to happen with him. He's not gotten more than 65 receptions in a year, so his ceiling is always higher than what he actually ends up producing. So I don't really like him in round 9. I'd rather get him in the 11th or 12th round, but that's just not the reality of where he's being drafted right now. 2 more guys to talk about. We got Christian Watson going in the 10th round, pick 3 overall. I honestly think that if you're going to want him on your team, you're going to have to take him in the 8th or 9th just because I think that a lot of people are going to snipe him and really like his upside. But based on where he's going right now, you could wait until the back end of the 9th, beginning of the 10th. I love him overall for the long haul there at Green Bay as long as Aaron Rodgers is still quarterback. The last guy is another rookie, Jamison Williams, has a chance to be much higher on this board. I think he's the best wide receiver in his class. He's just hurt, and he's also going to the Detroit Lions with Jared Goff. I don't know how that's going to turn out. I don't really like it for him in the long haul, but we'll see what happens if they end up getting a better quarterback situation or if Jared Goff is elevated because of the level of his receiving talent and running backs. We'll see what happens this year, but he is my 16th guy. He's going 10-12 overall. Literally everybody else is a flyer. We've got 17 through 30. These are all flyers, and I'll go through them very quickly. George Pickens, Pittsburgh, runs into the same issue as everybody else there. Donovan Peoples-Jones, you can get him anytime. David Bell, he's going a little ahead of Donovan Peoples-Jones, but again, a guy you can get at any point in time. Randall Cobb, Green Bay. See what happens with him. He still has a connection with Aaron Rodgers, and he was good in the stretch last year, so maybe somebody you want to take a little earlier or not let fall to the waiver wire. Amari Rodgers at Green Bay, he's been there for 3 years now. He has not produced in 3 years, and I don't know if Aaron Rodgers even knows that he exists, but we'll see what happens there. Devin Duvernay is the only other Baltimore wide receiver I have on here. He ain't worth picking up. Don't worry about it. They're going to run the ball. Just stick with Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews and go from there. Josh Reynolds out of Detroit, home run type guy. He had a decent career in the LA Rams before going on to the Detroit Lions. He has a short contract with them. We'll see what happens. Byron Pringle out of Chicago. I don't really like anybody outside of Darnell Mooney out of Chicago, and for that reason, I also have Velus Jones Jr. and N'Keal Harry back here as well. KJ Osborne has some high upside as the third receiver in Minnesota, but again, he's going to actually be the fourth target behind Dalvin Cook there. Calvin Austin III, another rookie in Pittsburgh. Just too many mouths to feed, and I don't really like him here for now. Long term in a fantasy dynasty league, he might be great, but not great here. Anthony Schwartz, another Florida Gator who's on the Cleveland Browns. Just not enough upside for me to want to draft him. He's a decent player and has shown flashes in the past. Not enough talent here though. And then Romeo Doubs. With Green Bay, he has the potential to be a lot higher than 30th overall, but there's like 5 or 6 mouths to feed there, and I don't know who's going to emerge. He's a guy that you may want to take at the very end just as a home run flyer, but I don't think you're looking at any production from him for at least first half of the season. But that's just what I think about the NFC and the AFC North. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts. Did I miss anybody? Do you like somebody better than where I have them? Do you think their ADP is way off, or is it about right? If you like the video, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. I would really appreciate it and help the channel grow. Until next time, rise up.